Good evening. Let's read a bit more before I get too tired. I just finished eating my hot foods. It's soon 6 p.m. soon. Let's read this one. So that would be a very hot week. Next week will be very hot. Like 28. That's hot because I'm living in Denmark, Scandinavia, and it's autumn. It's September months.
T-72 operators and variants. Main article, T-72. The T-72 is a Soviet-designed main battle tank that entered production in 1971. It replaced the T-54/55 series as the workhorse of Soviet tank forces, while the T-64 and T-80 served as the Soviet high-technology tanks. In frontline Russian service, T-72s are being upgraded or augmented by the T-90, itself a modernized version of the T-72B. The T-72 has been exported and produced in many countries. Operators, edit. Current operators, edit. 1 Algeria 325 T-72M1/M1M as of 2023. 2 Angola 50 T-72M1 as of 2023. 3 Armenia 390 T-72B as of 2023. 4 Azerbaijan 404 T-72AV, T-72B, and T-72 SIM2 as of 2023. 5 Belarus 477 T-72B and 20 T-72B3 mod. 2016 as of 2023 various T-72 modifications in reserve. 6 Bulgaria 90 T-72M1/M in service as of 2022. 7 Canada, 1 operated by the 4 Intelligence Company. 8 Czech Republic 30 T-72M4CZ in service, up to 89 T-72M1 in reserve, as of 2022. 50 T-72M1s were donated to Ukraine between 2022 and 2023. 9 Democratic Republic of the Congo 100 T-72AV delivered by Ukraine in 2010. 10 Ethiopia 50 bought from Yemen, 171 T-72UA1 vehicles reportedly ordered from Ukraine in 2011. 11. Georgia 143 T-72B/SIM1 in 2018. Upgraded T-72 SIMs were upgraded in Georgia with assistance of Israel. 12 Hungary 44 T-72M1 in service as of 2022. 77 T-72s were donated to the new Iraqi army. Hungary announced it ordered 44 Leopard 2A7+ tanks from Germany, which are to replace the T-72 in the 2020s. 13 India 2,418 T-72M1. 156 VT-72B, and some bridge layer vehicles as of 2023. 14 Iran 480 T-72s as of 2023. 15 Iraq 1000 T-72 Ural, 1973, T-72 Ural modernization, T-72M. T-72M1 and Saddam tanks were in service with Iraqi army in 1990. 375 T-72 Ural, 1973, T-72 Ural modernization, T-72M, T-72M1, Lion of Babylon and Saddam tanks were in service with Iraqi Regular Army in 2003. Only 125 T-72M1 are in service as of 2009 with the new Iraqi Army. Some T-72 SMBTs in service with the PMF. Some T-72s have been upgraded and modernized by Iran with Raksa kits. One Kurdistan 63 entered service for the Peshmerga after 1991. 16 Kazakhstan 350 T-72BA as of 2023. 17 Kenya 33 T-72M1 possibly ordered by South Sudan from Ukraine, but seized by Kenya after being held ransom en route by Somali pirates in 2008. 18 Kyrgyzstan 150 as of 2023. 19 Laos T-72B1. 20 Libya 150 in 2003. 21 Malaysia 48 PT-91M delivered by Poland, improved Polish PT-91, which is itself an improved variant of the T-72M1. 22 Morocco 40 T-72B, 60 in storage as of 2023. 23 Mongolia 100 delivered. 50 T-72 are in service as of 2023. 24 Myanmar 300 T-72s. Received from Ukraine between 2000 to 2008. 25 Nicaragua 50 T-72B1MS tanks. 26 Nigeria 10 T-72AV and 31 T-72M1 as of 2023. 27 North Macedonia 30 T-72A and 1 T-72AK delivered from Ukraine in 1999. 8 tanks were donated to Ukraine in June 2022. In 2024, 23 tanks are active. 28 Poland 130 T-72A /T-72M1 are in active service as of 2022. 2008 586 T-72M1 and T-72M1D, 135 T-72M1Z, T-72M1 upgraded to PT-91 standard, and 98 PT-91 in service 2006, 2007 597, 2005 644, 2004 649. More than 260 T-72s have been donated to Ukraine in 2022. 29 Russia 1100 T-72B3, 550 T-72B3M, and more than 1000 T-72B in operation in 2022, 4,800 variants of the T-72B in total. As of February 2023, the Russian Army operates 400 T-72B/BA, 500 T-72B3, and 250 T-72B3M tanks. The Russian Naval Infantry operates 170 T-72B/B3/B3MS. The Russian Airborne Forces operates 50 T-72B3/B3M, while the 1st Army Corps and 2nd Army Corps operates some T-72A and T-72B tanks. 10,000 T-72 tanks of all variants in different conditions in storage. Many of the T-72 tanks have been left exposed and stored since the early 1990s, and they are likely to be in poor condition. 30 Slovakia 20 T-72M1, still in service at the end of 2018. Another 10 in storage. 31 Serbia 30 T-72B1MS and 13 T-72M are actively used, and 51 T-72M are in reserve. 32 South Sudan 96 to 101 units delivered in 2 shipments from Ukraine. First, 32 T-72 on the MV Faina in 2009, and second, 67 T-72 in 20. 2 T-72 tanks were destroyed during the Heglig crisis. 80 T-72 AV in service as of 2023. 33 Sudan 70 T-72 AV as of 2023. 34 South Ossetia, 10. 35 Syria 650 T-72, T-72 AV, T-72 AVS, T-72S, T-72M, T-72M1, T-72M1M, T-72M1S, T-72B-OB. 1989, T-72B3, T-72 ADRA, a domestically improved version of the T-72M1 featuring slat and spaced armor, with later versions also including the SARAB active protection system, and T-72 Shafra. 1 Syrian Democratic Forces reported. 36 Tajikistan 28 T-72 Euro /AV /B and 3 T-72 B1 as of 2023. 37 Turkmenistan 650 T-72 and T-72 UMG as of 2023. 38. Uganda 40 T-72 and 10 T-72 B1 as of 2023. 39 Ukraine 500 plus T-72 and PT-91 Twiddy as of 2023. In January 2014, Ukraine had 600 T-72 tanks all in storage. They were returned to active service since the war in Donbas, and several were captured and pressed into service during the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, while others were donated by NATO members such as Poland and Czech Republic. 1 Russian separatist forces in Donbas. 40 Uzbekistan 70 as of 2023. 41 Venezuela 92 T-72 B1. Delivered in 2009-2012 from Russia. In June 2012, Russia and Venezuela agreed on deal for 100 more T-72. 42 Yemen 39 in 2003. 1 Houthis. Evaluation /aggressor training, edit. 1 Australia 1 donated by Germany to Australian Army for evaluation. 2 Canada former East German tanks received at the end of the Cold War for OP4 training. Out of service by 2000. 3 Pakistan some transferred from Iraq to Pakistan after the Persian Gulf War. 4 South Korea used for aggressor training. Its presence was considered classified but released into public after Army's invitation events. 5 Sweden acquired 8 former East German T-72s in 1991 primarily to evaluate Soviet armor. 1 has been preserved, while others are used as targets. 6 United States 90. 7 People's Republic of China. 1 obtained from the exchange of industrial machinery in Romania for scientific research, which is called Type 64. Former operators, edit. 1 Republic of Arsic ~20 T-72 AV/B and 1 T-72 Sim-2 as of February 2023, seized by Azerbaijan following the 2023 Azerbaijani offensive in Nagorno-Karabakh. 2 Czechoslovakia about 1,700 T-72 /T-72M T-72M1S were produced between 1981 and 1990. The Czechoslovak Army had 815 T-72s in 1991. All were passed on to the successor states in 1993. 1 Czech Republic 543. To Slovakia 272. East Germany 35 T-72s, from USSR, 219 T-72s, from Poland and Czechoslovakia, 31 T-72ms, from USSR, 162 T-72ms, from Poland and Czechoslovakia, and 136 T-72M1s. 75 T-72s were fitted with additional hull armor, passed on to the unified German state. 1 Germany 549 tanks taken from the GDR's army, all scrapped, sold to other countries or given to museums. 1 Finland some 160-170 T-72M1s. About 70 T-72M1s, 1 armored brigade, were bought from the Soviet Union and were delivered in 1984, 1985, 1988 and 1990. A further 97 T-72M1s, including a small number of command versions T-72M1K and T-72M1K1, were bought from German surplus stocks in 1992-1994. All withdrawn from service in 2006. Scrapped in Javaskila or sold as spares to the Czech Republic. At least 2 Finnish T-72s are still in working order and have been used in showcases. 2 Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant. Several were captured from the Syrian army. 3 Romania 31 T-72ms were bought from the USSR, and received between 1978 and 1979. Withdrawn from service, in long-term storage, 28 tanks are for sale, 23 of them need repairs and 5 are operational. In 2022 it was reported that Romania transferred their fleet of T-72s to Ukraine in response to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. For Sierra Leone in 1994, Sierra Leone acquired 2 T-72s from Poland via Ukraine. The vehicles were previously in Polish service. Another unspecified number of ex-Polish tanks was delivered to Sierra Leone in 1997, also via Ukraine. These vehicles also previously served with Poland. 5 Soviet Union passed on to successor states. 1 Russia 10,284. 2 Belarus 1,797. 3 Ukraine 1,044. 4 Turkmenistan 702. 5 Kazakhstan 700. 6 Azerbaijan 325. 7 Armenia 246. 8 Georgia 219. 9 Kyrgyzstan 150. 10 Uzbekistan 70. 11 Tajikistan 44. 12 Lithuania 398, all units transferred to Russia in 1993. 13 Latvia 114, all units transferred to Russia in 1994. 14 Moldova 0, no Soviet divisions stationed in Moldova fielded T-72s. 1 Tigray Defense Forces surrendered to the Ethiopian forces in the aftermath of the Tigray War. 2 Yugoslavia bought approximately 18 T-72ms from the USSR and 72 from Czechoslovakia, later developed the improved M84. Variants, edit. Soviet Union and Russia, edit. The T-72 was designed and first built in the Soviet Union. 1 T-72 Ural, Object 172M, 1973 original version, armed with the 125mm D81TM smoothbore tank gun. Unlike the later versions, it had the searchlight mounted on left. It also had flipper-type armor panels. It had the TPD-2-49 coincidence rangefinder optical sight protruding from its turret. 1 T-72K, command version of the T-72 Ural with an additional R-130M radio. Company command versions were fitted with 2 additional R123M/R173 radios and also carried a 10M telescopic mast. Battalion and regiment command versions were fitted with 2 additional R123M/R173 radios and the R130M that used the 10M mast when it was erected. In NATO code, the T-72K was represented by 3 different designations: T-72K1, T-72K2 and T-72K3, which represented the company command version, battalion command version and regiment command version. 2 Robot 2, remote-controlled T-72 Ural. 3 Object 172-2M Buffalo, modernization of the T-72 made in the early 1970s. The angle of the front armor slope was changed to 30 degrees. 100% metal side skirts protecting sides of the hull, added armor screens protecting the turret, ammunition storage increased to 45 rounds, modified suspension, added smoke grenade dischargers, SGDs, engine power boosted to 840 HP, 630 kilowatts. 4 T-72 Ural 1, Object 172M1, 1976 new 2A46 main gun, new armor on the turret. 5 T-72V, V4 Vzrivnoy explosive, unofficial designation for tanks fitted with Contact 1 explosive reactive armor fitted to the hull front and turret. 1 T-72A, Object 176, 1979, an improved version of the basic T-72 Ural. Large numbers of early production T-72 Ural models were modernized in the 1980s. Searchlight has been placed on the right-hand side of turret, blanking off the TPD-2-49 coincidence optical rangefinder and replaced by the TPD-K1 laser rangefinder. Added plastic armor track skirts covering the upper part of the suspension with separate panels protecting the sides of the fuel and stowage panniers instead of the flipper-type armor panels used on the T-72 Ural. The turret front and top being heavily reinforced with composite armor better known by its US code name Dolly. Part Arm, provisions for mounting reactive armor, an electronic fire control system, MB smoke grenade launchers, flipper armor mount on front mudguards, internal changes, and a slight weight increase. 1 T-72 1979G, additional glacis armor with thickness of 17 mm of high-resistance steel. 2 T-72 1984G, late production model with anti-radiation lining. 3 T-72AK, Object 176K command version of the T-72. In NATO code, T-72AK was represented by 3 different designations: T-72AK1, T-72AK2 and T-72AK3, which represented the company command version, battalion command version and regiment command version. 4 T-72AV, V4 Vzrivnoy explosive, model with Contact 1 explosive reactive armor fitted to hull front and turret. 1 T-72M, Object 172ME2, Object 172ME3, Object 172ME4 Soviet export version, similar to the T-72 but with thinner armor and 125 mm D81T smoothbore tank gun with 44 rounds. It was sold to Iraq and to Syria and was also built in Poland by Bumar Labdi and Czechoslovakia. 1 T-72MK, T-72MK, export version of T-72AK. It is a command vehicle for battalion commanders and has additional radio equipment including the R130M radio, AB1P/30M1U generator and a TNA3 navigation system. The main external difference is a 10 mm telescopic antenna stowed under the rear of the stowage box during travel. An additional antenna base for this telescopic antenna is mounted on the left side of the turret. Because of the additional equipment, the number of rounds for the 125 mm tank gun had to be lowered from 44 to 38. In NATO code, the T-72 was represented by 3 different designations: T-72 T-72 and T-72 which represented the company command version, battalion command version and regiment command version. 1 T-72 Object 172 Soviet export version, armed with the 125 mm D-81T smoothbore tank gun with 44 rounds. 1 T-72 fitted with a French 155 mm F1 turret for trials in India. 2 T-72 fitted with a British 155 mm Vickers T6 turret for trials in India. 1 T-72 Object 172E5, Object 172E6 Soviet export version, with thicker armor and similar to T-72 OB.1979G. It also is fitted with 7+5 smoke grenade dischargers on turret front. It was also built in Poland and ex-Czechoslovakia. 1 T-72M1K, Commander's variant with additional radios. 2 T-72M1V, T-72M1 with Contact 1 explosive reactive armor, V4 Vzrivnoy explosive. 1 T-72M1M, Object 172Me8 Soviet export version. It's a T-72M1 upgraded to T-72B standard. 1 T-72S Shilden, T-72M1M1, Object 172Me8 export version of the T-72B with only 155 era bricks, simplified NBC system, no anti-radiation lining etc. 1 T-72B, Object 184, NATO code, SMTM 1988, 1985, SMT Soviet medium tank, equipped with a new 2A46M main gun with a new 2E42-2 stabilization system. Much improved version of 1A40-1 fire control system. 1K13-49 gunner's sight, which allows the use of 9M119s for gun-launched anti-tank guided missile. Thicker armor, 20 mm of applique armor on the front of the hull. Front and top of the turret were heavily reinforced with composite armor, better known by its US code name Super Dolly Partan. New V84-1 engine with 840 HP. 626 kilowatts. On early models, the smoke dischargers were mounted on the turret front, as on the T-72. Later they were grouped on the left side of the turret to prepare for the installation of era bricks. 1 T-72BK, Object 184K command version of the T-72B, recognizable by having multiple radio antennas and a radio mast stowage under rear turret bin. 2 T-72BV, V4 Vzrivnoy explosive, model with Contact 1 explosive reactive armor fitted to hull front and turret. 1 T-72BA, Object 184 /1. This designation is used to refer to several models of late T-72B, stripped down, refurbished and upgraded with certain core components at Uralvagonzavod between 1998 and 2005. There are several features common to all upgraded T-72BA models: front of the turret and front of the hull reinforced with Contact 5 era, the frontal floor plate reinforced against mines. The driver's seat is now suspended from the ceiling instead of being fixed to the floor, and the driver's station has a new steering system as well as a new TVN5 night sight. These tanks are equipped with the V84MS engine using an upgraded exhaust system and newly developed twin-pin tracks, used on the T-72. The upgrade also included the integration of a DWEBS wind sensor whose mast is located on the rear, left part of turret and which feeds information into the 140 fire control system automatically. Tanks upgraded after the year 2000 received an improved 140-01M fire control system which makes use of ATBV digital ballistic computer. The tanks can also fire the